Okay, Assalamu alaikum boys. I'm going to just go through what we just covered in class on how to solve linear equations. Now this is a basic linear equation. Why do I put 2 times 3 plus 1 and 2x plus 1 is equal to 7? Because they're pretty much the same problem. The only difference between this and this is that there's an unknown here on the right side of the equation, and there's an unknown here, which is on the left side of the equation. Other than that, they're pretty much the same thing. And if we were to apply on the left side BODMAS to solve the problem, we would apply first multiplication, which would be 6 plus 1, and then eventually we would be able to work out that 6 plus 1 is equal to 7. Now with the same logic, pretty much what I'm trying to say to you is that solving this problem, there was only an unknown on the right side of the equation. Now with this one, it's the total opposite. That's why we are applying SAMDOB, which is backwards version of BODMAS. So now I'm going to try and attempt to apply SAMDOB in order to find out this unknown here. Now, mathematically, what we are trying to do is find x. And to find what x is equal to, we can mathematically somehow eliminate the 1 and the 2, and we'll have x by itself. And that's our aim. But which one do we take out, or which one do we eliminate first? SAMDOB hopefully will be able to help us out here. So now we have two parts to the left side of the equation. We have a multiplication here, because we should know that this is a multiplication, and we have an addition. So I'm going to write multiplication here and addition. What comes first? Well, addition is on top of multiplication. So therefore we know that we should try to eliminate the 1 first. Now how do we mathematically eliminate the 1? We minus 1 on both sides. So now what would our new equation be? It will be 2x is equal to 6. Now I'm going to repeat this. 2x is equal to 6 again. So we can just show that previous step and it just stays as is. Now we don't have any other options here. We just got 2 times x. So what's the opposite of multiplication? How do we eliminate mathematically a 2? Well, we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we can put a bar, we can write divide by 2, but I prefer to mathematically put it as a bar and then a 2. So can you see that the 2 is cancelled, and therefore we're left with x is equal to 3. And as you probably can see, similar to that. Now I'm going to try and go through the steps again, what we've covered. The first step that we did was we try to get a look at the SAMDOB table. We have subtraction, addition, multiplication, division over brackets. Now we have, in this problem, we have a multiplication and we have an addition. Multiplication doesn't come first, addition comes first. That's why we got rid of that. And then what we're left with was the 2. So we eliminated the 2, and we eventually got x by itself to equal to 3. Now I'm going to try and give you guys a different question, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense doing this question, because there's a lot more elements to try and find out what x is and to try and get x by itself. Now mathematically what we should be trying to do is, if I got rid of this, and this, then x will be left by itself. But we need to ensure that the order is important. If we don't follow the order which is this, which SAMDOB helps us with, then we won't be able to get the right answer. Now, one thing that I want you guys to bear in mind, that the brackets, which is on the bottom, which should be last, let's eliminate that. We don't want to even worry about what's inside the brackets. So pretty much we have 2 times the bracket plus 2 is equal to 22. Now, what comes first? We have multiplication, we have addition. That's all we have. So what comes first? Addition or multiplication? Well, addition is on top, so we try to mathematically get rid of this first. Okay, so what do we do here? We minus 2 on both sides, and therefore that will be eliminated. So what is our new equation? Well, it will be 2 times the bracket is equal to 20. Now, you're probably thinking, why haven't I written something inside the bracket? Well, as I said to you, the bracket's last, so we don't really worry about what's inside the bracket. All we know that it's 2 times the bracket. Now, we've only got really one option, which is the multiplication. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to divide 2 on both sides. And as you probably can see now, we've only got the bracket left. Do we really need the bracket now? No, we don't, because there's nothing attached or connected next to the bracket. So I'm just going to write what was inside the bracket before, which was 3x plus 4 is equal to 10, because 20 divided by 2 is equal to 10. Now we can apply Sam-Dobb again. So we have multiplication and we have addition. What should come first? Multiplication or addition? That's multiplication, that's addition. Addition's first. So we should mathematically try and get rid of the 4. So I'm going to minus 4 on both sides. So we have 3x is equal to 6. And therefore, what's 3 times x is equal to 6? It will be 2. So obviously we have only got 3 times x, which therefore means that we can do the opposite of times, which is divide. And we should know that it's divide 3 on both sides. Therefore, x is equal to 2. Okay, let's go back to what we did from the very beginning. First thing, when we're looking at this equation, okay, we look at there is a bracket, but the bracket should be last. So don't worry what's inside the bracket, because you will get confused, because inside the bracket there is a multiplication and addition. So let's not worry about the bracket, let's worry about the bracket last. So what do we really have? Well, we have a multiplication of the bracket and an addition. And we should know that addition comes first. So that's why we try to mathematically eliminate the 2. So once we eliminated the 2, we were left with 2 times the bracket is equal to 20. So then how do we get rid of the 2? Because it was 2 times the bracket. We do the opposite of times, which is division. So we divided 2 on both sides. As you probably can see here, we divided the 2 on both sides. And then we were left with a new equation, which was 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. Now, 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. We go back to the Sam-Dobb, okay, which was multiplication and addition. What was first? Well, addition comes before multiplication. So that's why we subtracted 4 on both sides. And therefore, we're left with 3x is equal to 6. And to get x by itself, we divide 3, which therefore we were left with x equaling to 2. Now, I've got one more example that I like to give. But before I give this example, we need to bear in mind that when we're writing 3x minus 11 over 2, this means this is equal to 3x minus 11, this whole thing, divide 2. That's very important. And why I say it's very important is because if you do not put these brackets here, then the question will be different. So we need to make sure that we put brackets there in order to apply the Sam-Dobb. Now I'm going to just rub out the whole thing that we just did. So what should we learn from this example here? And especially this being an example from the textbook, we should make sure that we put a bracket there, because we're saying the whole thing is divided by 2. It's very important, because if we don't put the brackets, then we will not be able to apply the Sam-Dobb method properly. So when we're looking at this question, what is the first thing that we should be doing? Well, I want to try and look at our options. First, because we have a bracket, we do bracket last. So what do we technically have? We've got a bracket, divide by 2 is equal to 8. So we've only really got one option, which is division. Brackets, as I said to you, is last. So therefore, what's the opposite of division? It's multiplication. So we're going to be timesing 2 on both sides. Therefore, the 2 cancels. Now we're left with whatever was in the bracket is equal to 16. Now I'm just going to make this a bit smaller because I don't have enough room. So we have whatever was in the bracket is equal to 16. I'm going to try and put it there. So which was 3x minus 11 is equal to 16. Now we have a few options here. We have multiplication and we have subtraction. What comes first? What takes precedence? Well, the subtraction is first. So how do we eliminate minus 11? Well, if I add 11 on both sides, it will equal, our new equation will be 3x, this cancels, and that will equal to 16 plus 11 is equal to 27. Now we've only got one option, which is, so we have 3x is equal to 27. How do we get x by itself? Well, if it's 3 times x, then we should know that we're doing the opposite, which is divide. So I'm going to divide 3 on both sides. Therefore, the 3 cancel, and we're left with x is equal to 9. Alright guys, I'm hoping that you guys can do a bit of practice on your own, and hopefully if you've got any questions, please Edmodo me. Thank you.